Most people overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/Libsyn today. That's JERRY.ai/LIBSYN.
I came here to heal, I came here to grow. Lesson in love, they helped me let go. I chose this path, I chose this time. Everything I need, I hold inside. So, for fuck's sakes, when is healing enough? At what point do you stop with all the healing? Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Seeing with Your Soul with me, Tisha Michelle, your host. That is a question that I have been asking myself for a while. So if you are new here, let me give you a quick backstory, right? So December 29th, 2017, my best friend Gloria went to sleep and she didn't wake up. So that naturally rocked my whole world. And that's actually when my spiritual awakening was birthed. Yeah. So it was a couple of days after her funeral when I was really having a breakdown. And I just remember saying, there has to be more to life than this, because if this is it, I don't want to be here. And I have shared this story, since 2018 so many times, and speaking to groups and podcasts and even just sharing with people one-on-one. And I always wanted to make sure to express that I wasn't suicidal. I was actually questioning my existence because nothing made any sense. So during that period, so many things happened. So much stuff was just happening in my life, and I was just seeing life differently. And I used to always joke, and I'll just be like, the grass is greener, the sky is bluer, and I'm just skateboarding through life right now because everything just looks and feels different. And then it came crashing. And I want to say this was probably like a couple of months after when, my intuition was out. I was seeing a lot of numbers, and this is like numerology was really, really, really heavy for me. And I started diving into numerology and like your life path and like what angel numbers. And I was doing this like for people. And then I started working with like oracle cards. I didn't really dabble with the tarot. It was more so oracle cards because I could really tap into my intuition versus like understanding what wands meant and the swords and, things of that sort. But it was like the oracle cards was really, really allowing me to like tap into my intuition. I would see this card and then I would say this, and all these things was just like happening. And I went to Egypt, and it was just like all just like amazing. And it was like I was grieving, or I was going through this, I thought I was grieving. And it's like all these things just started like be like birthing. And then all of a sudden things just started crashing. And I was like, what is happening? But then when these things were happening, that's when I was introduced to healing the inner child, and was like, what is the inner child? And I was like, oh, that's the younger version of you, that little girl in you that's still hurting, that little girl who is, still wishing that, her father was in her life, that little girl that just wanted to be loved and liked. And I was like, what? And then things just started to make sense. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, she's sad. She's always been sad. And this is why she's a people pleaser. And this is why, she's the one that's always there for everyone. And then no one's there for her because they think that she has it all together. But you're like slowly dying inside. But you're pretending like I'm good, I'm fine, and just being there. So I started to like see these different things. And then I started learning about shadow work and working in that space. And then I went through a dark night of the soul, and it literally had me on my knees, and I really thought I was going to die from just the pain of different things that had happened into my life, and I had to like work through those. But what ended up happening was my intuition was on fire, and I started working with other people, and I started helping them to teaching them to heal themselves, right? And what was happening was a theme of different people, of what was going on in their world and how I was helping them. And now I'm channeling and I'm being this conduit and saying these things to them. But in actuality, it was also for myself. And I was like, oh, this is how I heal, by teaching other people to heal themselves, right? Because I was like, I'm not healing you. I don't have that power to heal you, but I can be the messenger. I can be the conduit. I can be the one to reflect it back to you, so that way you're able to see that and recognize the power that you have within yourself to heal yourself. And then I started learning, about hypnosis, and I did hypnosis for myself to go back into early childhood, to be able to heal certain things, and these different things was coming up. And then I was like, well, I might as well get certified to be able to do this so I can help other people on that too. And then I started doing that, right? And everything was around healing. Everything was around healing, and it was like, you don't wanna operate from this place of, like, low vibration, right? So I would find myself being upset about something and then stopping it. "Nope, nope, 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 nope. Gotta be positive, because I don't wanna operate from a low vibration, because then I'm just gonna attract things on there." Or, if I'm, seeking to manifest something, and then I get upset and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I just messed it up." So then I started feeling like I didn't deserve it, I'm not gonna get it, because I just got upset about this thing. And I started to find myself in this loop, and it was a weird ass loop. And it was like, you're never going to be done healing. And while I do believe some of that to be true, it's more so that there's always going to be something that can come up, but it doesn't mean that you can't move forward in your life because you're not fully healed. Or let's try this one, the dating. Well, I don't want to bring anybody into my mess. I'm not going to date anybody until I'm healed. But what does that actually look like? If you're still keeping yourself in this loop, then you're never going to date, because you don't feel like you're worthy or you deserve it, because you're a mess, right? Now, this is not to say, oh, as soon as you get out of this relationship and go through that breakup, you should just hurry up and jump into the next relationship. No, you do want to go through your form or your version of healing and learning to love yourself, and processing what happened in that relationship, because I do believe that the relationships are mirrors, and they're reflecting things back to us for us to learn from them so we can grow. That's what we came here for, right? To evolve and to grow. But at what point, like, do you put yourself out there? Because if feel like you've learned these lessons, or you've experienced this and you've started to like really like love yourself, a lot more. At what point, what I'm saying, are you going to test this out? Meaning, like, at what point are you going to put yourself out there? Or are you going to keep yourself closed off and then hide behind, I'm not done healing, I'm not done healing? Well, what's really going on? What's really going on? And when you look at that space of healing, why do we think that healing can only come from shadow work? Um, or, I mean, breath work, that's great too. Therapy. What else? Like, I feel like I mean, there's so many different healing modalities, and all of them are great. And I swear I've like done all of them, and then I started doing them for other people, right? And they're all great. But at what point do you go out and live? At what point do you have fun? And at what point do you bring in some joy? Because who's to say that that's not a version of healing? Like, who's to say that who's to say laughing is not healing? Because it is. Getting your money right will calm that nervous system down real quick. Having predictable income, please. Like, that will get you right. Going on adventures, traveling, meeting new people, dancing. Did I say laughing? Yes, I said laughing. Like, all of those are also versions of healing. But what you're actually doing is you're living. And I feel like it's really easy to get caught up in the loop of healing, where it's a constant, constant, constant that you're forgetting to actually live your fucking life. And this is coming from someone who has gone through that. And not only have I gone through that loop myself, like I've worked with so many people in these spaces of healing. And I got to this point where I stopped working with people. And I said it was because I was burnt out. And I was. But what was actually happening was like I didn't want to be in that darker space anymore. So if I'm gonna like work with someone or guide them, I want it to be through joy, through fun, through laughter. Like it didn't have to be all of the heavy stuff and tapping into all of that, that trauma. And I've experienced trauma and I've worked with a lot of people in trauma and I'm not gonna like dismiss any of that. I'm just saying that there has to be a point where we actually start to live and we just bring more joy into our life. And I know you know what I'm talking about, where it's like, I'm tired of crying, even though a good cry that's an internal cleanse, but you're like, I'm tired of being sad. I'm tired of crying all the time. I'm tired of having the same story of talking about my trauma over and over and over and over and over. And then you're in this loop and this story is just like on repeat. So yes, you can do the shadow work. You can do the breath work, do the therapy, do all of those things, but just don't forget to live your life. Don't forget to make new friends. Don't forget to laugh as often as you can. Don't forget to put yourself out there. And when I say put yourself out there, it's like open yourself up to love again. Yes, this person may have broken your heart. Yes, you may have felt and gone through these different things, but that was that version of you with that person. Doesn't mean that everything is going to be like that with the next person. Now, I do feel like if you keep yourself in that story, and that's what's on the loop over and over and over, I do believe that we do attract that in that sense because what we're saying is this is what we like and this is what we want. And I know that that's not the case. We all want to be loved. We all want to feel heard and we all want to feel seen. And I feel like that is possible for each and every one of us. We just got to start living our fucking life. Like literally start living our life and not staying in this constant loop of healing or feeling confused and afraid to make a move because there's no possible way that I could be healed already. Like it has to take longer. There's just no way that I can just come to the conclusion to say, you know what? I deserve more in my life. I deserve better. And I'm gonna go get it. But just yesterday, you were crying or you were sitting with a therapist or you was doing some shadow work and you're like, there's no possible way. But I'm here to tell you it is. There is. It is. There 100%, I do believe this through my own experience, is it is possible. Because you making the declaration that you deserve more and you want more and you're gonna go get it, that's you switching everything right there to say, I no longer wanna operate from that story. I'm operating from a different story. I want to create a different story. I want to show that I can overcome this thing that had me in a chokehold for so long. And now I want to do something different. Now I'm playing a different character. And when I say that, I don't mean by you not being authentic. It's just saying there's so many versions of us that's ready to come out. But for some reason, we stick with the same version. Like, it's like this, like, you know how if you have friends or your peers, whatever you want to like, the categories you put people in, but when you're around this person, you're like this. And when you're around this person, you're like that. And I know it's flashing in your head saying, like, yeah, when I'm with this person, I turn up. I'm dancing on the tables. I'm just having a good ass time. Then when I'm with this person over here, we're in deep thought and we're just talking about aliens and all this stuff. Then you may have the person that you just brings out when you're talking about politics and you're talking about law and legal things. And then you have this person over here where you're just like fantasizing about all these things. It's not that you're being fake. It's just that different people bring out different versions of you because, but it's still you and you have all these different versions. But it's like, what version are you choosing to operate from? It's like you're choosing to operate from that version of you that you feel is broken, that you feel like needs to be fixed, and they need to heal, to heal, to heal, to heal, to heal, to heal. And I can tell you this, I didn't even recognize this until so Gloria died the end of 2017. I had that first reading with a medium in January of 2018. And everything just like cracked open from there. So I want to say we're in 2026. This was so between 2023 and now was really, really rough for me. It's like I felt like I went backwards, right? From all the work that I did, right? And all the healing and all this stuff, I felt like I went backwards. So I went through some pretty, pretty dark times. And I wanna say it was probably sometime last year where I had this like yeah, it was last year, 2025. I had this revelation and I said, "Holy shit, I never actually grieved the death of my best friend." And if you've been listening to me, you know, you're an OG, you've heard me talk about this in different aspects of it since I started the podcast in 2019. But I was like, I never actually grieved. I masked it with the different healing modalities, right? And then I poured so much into everyone else. And I was there for everyone, people that family, friends, and then the people that I just, that became clients and some clients became friends. And I just poured everything into everyone because this is what I was supposed to do. This is what I'm here to do. And I never actually grieved. I never actually grieved the death of my best friend. And I was like, I got caught up in this healing loop to the point that I had to I was on fumes, like I was operating off of I wasn't even on E. What is it underneath E, which is like the reserve, right? That's where I was pouring from into everybody. From there, I had nothing left for me until I got to the point that I'd have anything left for anyone else. And then I started being really, really hard on myself and then when I would start to feel whether it was anger or I was upset or I was sad, I would be like, no, 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 no. You can't operate from that low vibrational place because you're trying to manifest this and you're trying to move forward in your life. And then I would feel like I got pushed backwards. So I was like a lot further from where I was trying to do because I needed to heal. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Wait a minute. Am I going in a loop? Yes, I'm going in a loop. And I was like, I haven't even actually grieved. I actually haven't even I cried. And I did cry a lot throughout. But then it was like, okay, all right, get it together because now you got to be able to go help this person. But it was like, what about me? What about me? Then I'm like, no, but I did the healing and I did this and I did that. And it was healing from all the childhood and bringing up all these different things that I didn't even think ever affected me. Now I know now when I fast forward and then I look back, I'm like, wait, it actually it actually did affect me. It just looked a little bit different. But then when I started to crack certain things open, I then started looking at everything as from the little girl's lens. Everything was just through there, and then it was to the point where it's like, "Oh, that's because this happened, and how do I get past this? And I need to get past this." And I'm like, "But at one point, this wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even a thing." So, so let me pause really quick and make this statement. I am not saying that healing is a bad thing, right? I'm not saying that at all. It is definitely a journey. However, I do believe that we have to make sure that we are living our life and we are not caught up in this constant loop of you have to heal this, you have to heal that. Then it all started to become like this buzz thing, and now there's all these different modalities, and I don't think they're not just like made up. They've been around for a long time. So there's a lot of different healing modalities, and there's a lot of people who are coming to the forefront that stating that they are healers. And I'm not taking anything away from anyone at all. I don't know people's journey. I don't know, what their relationship is like with, you know, the higher power, any of that in the sort, because this is coming from someone who does readings, someone who does breath work with people, someone who teaches meditation, someone who is a certified professional hypnotist, someone who does NLP, all the shits, right? This is coming from this person. But I know those things can trap you. And you can keep this story playing in your head that something is wrong with you and you need to be fixed. And you don't. Are there things that you need to that you could benefit from overcoming? Absolutely. 100%. Because then you get to tap into the other versions of yourself, and then you get to be like oh, the best version of yourself. Yes, you're going to be the best version of yourself until you recognize that other version and you're like, "Oh, it gets even better." Yes, the fuck it does. 100%. It gets a lot better. And you deserve that shit. Like, you deserve it. And it was just so interesting to me to, like, be like, when does this shit stop? I'm ready to have some fun. I'm ready to laugh. I am ready to see if I have any more untapped gifts and skills that are inside of me, right? Because I didn't even know all these things was there. And then it was like, oh, I can do this. I can do that. There's somebody that I know, she's in real estate, and she put this post up on Facebook a while ago, and she was just like, "I just found out that I can draw." It was like some like 5 or 6 months ago, and she shared what she drew, and I was like, "That's so badass." She didn't know that she could draw. But when life is filled with so much of this stuff that's on us, it's so many things that are like underneath and that are like buried, and they're hidden, they're lying dormant, or you be like, "Oh, well, because of the trauma and the pain and all of those things." And yes, when you go through healing, those things can come to like the surface, which is, part of like what happened with me. Well, what happened with me was my best friend died, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I don't understand how somebody 39 with 3 kids under the age of 5 and a wife and my best friend can go to sleep and not wake up. What the fuck part of the game is that shit? So that right there caused my brain and my mind to be like, "What?" And then when I'm crying and I'm asking the question, saying, "There has to be more to life than this, because if this is it, I don't wanna be here." So somebody needs to make this shit make sense. And just that shifted alone opened me up, and then these gifts started to come up. You can go through therapy, you can do breath work, you can go through doing shadow work, you can do hypnosis, you can do past life regression therapy, which is all the shit that I have done. And yes, you can get to those things. but you can also bring joy into your life. You can also bring laughter into your life. You can also go out on adventures and travel and do all of those things, and these things can still come to the surface, meaning these different versions of you. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that I like to cook. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that I actually was creative. So I feel like when we think about healing and we look at healing, I don't think we need to get caught up in that there's only one way to like heal, and that's just through the darkness. And that's through the like I said, all the different things that I was like the shadow work and the crying and all those things. I think those things are one way, but it's not the only way. I think you going and traveling the world, and that world can be exploring in your state. Because I can tell you right now, I know that each and every one of you listening right now has not fully explored the state that they live in. Now watch somebody slide in my DMs and be like, you're wrong, and that's okay. That's cool. If you did, that's what's up. That's dope. Like, so when I say travel the world, you could be like, well, that's not in the cards for me because, I can't take the time off, or, I don't have, I don't have the funds to be able to do that. But you can explore your state. You can explore your state and you can heal yourself. You can see that there's so much more than what's right in front of you. And that can open up and tap you into another version of yourself. Just as much as sitting with your therapist, can unlock certain things for you too. So I feel like we can do it. We can do it all. So go continue to see your therapist. If you like processing and having talk therapy and she's giving you tools and all this stuff, that is great. And you want to do hypnosis and you want to go in and retrain certain things, absolutely, that's great. But I also want you to go have some fucking fun. Get tore up. And when I say tore up, not drinking and drunk. Tore up is in the thing that you go out somewhere and you dance. When was the last time you danced for like 2 hours straight? Seriously. Seriously. That you are so tired and your knees is hurting and you throw yourself on that bed and you are so fucking exhausted, but you feel good. When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you put on music in your house and just danced by yourself? When was the last time you watched some damn cartoons, like the cartoons that you grew up in? When was the last time you went and bought a coloring book and you colored? Or when was the last time you played pretend with your kids? Tapped into that imagination. I feel like all of those are forms of healing without even saying, I need to heal. I need to heal. It's just to go live your fucking life. Go live your life. Go explore. Go try something new. Go learn a new skill. Go learn a new language. I'm actually doing that now with Spanish, right? I took Spanish in ninth grade. Like, we had to take that shit in school, but I don't even know how the hell we even was passing this stuff and can't even speak any of it. But I'm starting off with Spanish because, just being here in America, it's like, it's such a good one to have. But also, I'm in real estate and a lot of the contractors are Spanish. So I want to be able to chat with them. And then from there, I don't know, I want to do like Hebrew maybe, but I wanted to get into something like a little spicy. Um, I've been drawing a lot lately because I swear I feel like I can draw. I just haven't tapped that shit out. Yeah. So I'll just, have a sketch pad and I just start drawing and I'm not putting anything on it where it's like, oh, I gotta draw this and step that. I just start doodling. Like, when was the last time that you picked up a pen or a pencil and paper and just doodled? Like, when was the last time you just started drawing some hearts? Like, seriously, like that is all healing. So if you are hell bent on, I need to heal, I need to heal, I need to heal, then I want you to tap into those versions and go have some fun. Do some laughing. Do some drawing, do some dancing. Oh my god, that dancing, man, you tap right in and clear so much energy out being in that space. Or what about, like, I was talking about this, to a couple people, and I even posted this, like, on Threads when I was just talking about, like, the '90s. Like, that was a to me, that was a best damn era. The '90s was just so dope. Like, I mean, it's not even that I can't even, like, explain it. Like, you just had to, like, live it, and it just felt so damn good. So I'm like, "How can I need to recreate this. Let's recreate like, what's up? I need a slap bracelet." And with just thinking about the different things in the '90s made me feel so good. It really made me feel so good. And I was like, just thinking about that and thinking about the different things, the music, the connection that we had with people. Like I said, the little slap bracelets and our friendship bracelets, like, what's up? Just thinking about how we had that connection because there was not us on the internet and on our phone all the time and stuff. Like we was outside riding bikes and all types of stuff, right? And just having fun and just thinking about that all felt so good. And I was like going through, like, healing and learning more about yourself and tapping into the different versions can feel good like that versus repeating your trauma over and over and over and over, and then you starting to believe that your identity is your trauma. I used to wear that as a badge of honor of single mom. I'm a single mom, and, like, it was this damn and the struggle was the badge of honor, and it was like, "Why am I glorifying that?" Did it help shape me to the person that I am now? Yes. Was I able to see how resilient I am? Hell yes. But I don't have to wear that as a badge of honor, that I was wearing it so well that I just started choosing the struggle because that was my identity. Because you're in this, like, healing space and you gotta heal, like, from this, you gotta heal from that, you gotta heal from this, and then keeping you in that loop over and over and over and over, and it was to the point where it was like I was choosing the struggle, because when things started to become easy, I was rejecting it because I was used to chaos and I was used to struggle, and I gotta heal some more, I gotta heal some more to get past that. But what ended up happening was that became my identity. And I started operating from that place. And then I was masking, I was like, "Oh, I'm just burnt out and I'm like this and I'm like that." And it was my soul was saying, "For fuck's sake, when is enough enough?" And I was like, "Oh, enough is enough. It's time to live, baby girl. It is time to live." Until next time. Bye, guys.